Hey, Jay and Aaron. All right, so we're over here, Steve Amadon, actually electrician's downstairs, checking out that light for you. A couple things we found so far, and I'll just keep grabbing them as I see them. We do have a light switch that goes to the Christmas light receptacle. And you also notice that we don't have our 4-inch ballast in there because we have 4 stairs. We need to have less than 4-inch gap. It's fairly easy fix. Oh, exposed wiring. Okay, we need to have that in conduit. A little closer look at our flooring. Honestly, the linoleum's not bad. I'll double check the bathrooms. And yeah, certainly the carpet's due to be changed out. So definitely saved some money because that bid included linoleum as well. Alright, so I'm down here with the electrician, and it was actually just a couple of loose connections. I've been living with it that way for years. There's about a $190 call-out fee, so now we have a little gray area. We'll see if we can get the seller to cover that. We'll just negotiate. They try to pay for it in the contract. But the track light is working. So he's noticing definitely some extra caulk around here, and then we've got some small chips. They don't go all the way through, but they are chips in the tub. So this room may have looked green, but it's just the green curtain. It's regular white paint. This time around I'm noticing more just little marks in the walls and a couple around the stairs, so some touch-up paint. I would assume Jess Hall would have that on file for what paint we need to do touch-up. And of course, as we know, the carpets. And then Steve was saying for this upstairs tub that had a couple of small chips, there should be a little fix-it kit in a can. Not too big a deal to fix it. Certainly don't have to replace it, so that's good news. We're in the master bedroom. Steve noticed I've got a crack right here. Something must have pushed down on it. I think that could be sanded and painted. The mildew here, that's most likely from them leaving the blinds all the way down and it's not breathing. They are top down, bottom up, so you could just leave a gap and get some air circulation. Get rid of that moisture. The door, just a striker plate, not quite catching. Easy enough fix. Coming here, we got a little rub mark on the toilet seat. And this is a newer code than when the house was built, is what I understand. But these do need to be at minimum safety glaze because they're not tempered glass. Eagle Glass is the only people I know in town that are doing it. A couple $100, they'll put a film on the inside and the outside. For right now, they'll do the inside and be prepaid, and they'll do the outside when weather allows, so it gets to be a bit warmer. And again, little caulk around the shower head and maybe around the handle, he said. And also the pull-up bar, I think that all great YouTube fail videos are made out of. When they remove them, they're going to have holes in there, and they do have some patched, and it patches up pretty well, but just know that will probably be coming. In the basement, the year this house was built, the code changed. That's a hardwired smoke detector. We will need to switch that out, so it's a hardwired combination CO and smoke detector. Not too much else noteworthy. Definitely that glacial silt kind of coming up in the windows. Just a deep cleaning. Put that on your list. And then, surprisingly, the breach and fire barrier, it's not sheetrocked underneath.
Fire protected under the stairs.
Not fire protected underneath the stairs. So you could do it one of two ways. The easiest way he's saying is to put sheetrock mud tape underneath the stairs, so you've got your fire barrier there. Or, of course, you could change out this door so it's fire rated, but that might be a bigger project. Here's underneath the stairs. It's nice and flat. Just begging for a couple pieces of sheetrock, mud, and tape. High efficiency train furnace. I guess you've already seen that. Steve, go ahead, Steve. What you're saying?
Looks like you have a little bit of a condensate leak right here. Could be because of no hose clamps on the bottom of the hoses, or it might actually be at the combustion chamber, but any heating contractor doing servicing will be able to test it and look at it and tell where.
So when the sellers order their heating inspection, we need to make note for them to also check that out. Sounds good. I'm in the dining room, moving towards the garage. Definitely got the dog tearing up the weather stripping. As we move in here, we've got a gap at the bottom of the door. Just see a little bit of air. You could do the sweep, you could adjust that, or put a new sweep on there, or possibly this threshold might be adjustable enough to get rid of that gap. Again, we've got gaps larger than 4 inches in the ballast, or lack of ballast. And the fire caulk around each of these pipes just to seal up our breaches in fire barrier. And we actually still need a protective ballard. It's going to be a metal post that's going to go down and be anchored into the concrete so that a vehicle could not drive into the hot water heater. The stairs do not count as a protector. Steve is saying this is proper at the time. The code has since changed. We need to tie these breakers in together. And also we've got some wires that are not protected at the ends.
We've got exposed wire ends. And what Jesse was talking about is if you have a red wire and a black wire, it shares a neutral, which are the white wires, and a ground. If they share a neutral and a ground, they have to have a breaker tie connecting them together. So if you shut off one, you shut them both off, just like the 220 circuits have. It's not changing wiring or breakers, it's just adding a tie to connect them together.
All right. Too bad we don't still have an electrician here. Darn it. But they'll fix that. Also, we've got two gas-fired appliances here burning oxygen. By code, we need to actually have combustion air. So we're just going to see a hole up there to whatever size, whether it's 6, 8 inches. I don't even know, but somewhere in that ballpark. And our heating guy should catch that. So a hole up there per code. And that doesn't actually take into account the amount of air that goes around the door either, which is kind of silly. But hey, codes are codes. That's what they say. All of our outlets are GFCI'd except for this one, which is labeled freezer. They've tightened up on the code, and it's not only needs to be labeled freezer, but be covered up by the appliance. Super gray area. Personally, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but just want to let you know that is code.
Stopping, it should come to a stop and go back up with minimal tension. They do recommend nationally that it be around 3 pounds of pressure, but in Alaska it's a little better to have them close to about 10 or a little more because of the ice and snow that gets in the weather stripping. You don't want the door to just go ka-chunk, ka-chunk. It does need to come down properly. And that is easily adjustable by the switch right up here on the back of the opener.
Cool.
White.
Here, let's get a positive note. What were you saying?
Very good insulation. This is the Bolognian Arctic White. You always want a minimum of 8 inches of insulation in your attic. And yours right now is about 14 inches. So you are never going to have to add additional insulation up here to the attic.
And another positive, I do like we've got all the fluorescent lights as opposed to a couple little incandescents hanging down. So another little bonus. Lots of negative stuff for you, but I guess that's kind of what home inspections are geared towards. Similar to our hot water heater in the garage, we also need a ballard out here or some kind of a fence that could hook to the house, but something to stop a car from hitting the gas meter directly. Steve is noting the roof looks good. We've got lots of venting for all that insulation. We've got a ridge vent, we've got ridge vents, eave vents, and gable vents on the sides. And he'll note this in the report. They're getting tighter and tighter on these railings. Not only do we not have the gaps, but this is the correct grasping now, but this would be a pinch point. So if that was lowered, could work. And a day will come when you'll need graspable on both sides, but it's not here yet. Codes are always changing. Steve is noting this is our dryer vent, a little utility room in there. Then the cap comes up. Yeah, dang nabbit. Has a little cap that pops up in here when the dryer's on. However, they're not recommended for cold weather, and it could actually freeze up or down and cause an issue. If it's working, that's great. If not, just the cheap little $10 normal looking dryer vent that goes down is actually going to be a better design for our temperatures.